my yoga teaching journey. So it's nice to be able to say, here you go, have this one on me. So we're going to start today seated. So find a nice comfortable seat. Make sure you're really comfy. If you need to cover yourself with a blanket or anything, do. We're just going to take a few minutes to settle and ground and come into the practice this morning. So just letting your eyes softly close or lower your gaze, whatever feels more appropriate. And just take a moment to get yourself comfortable, have a bit of a fidget, but really bring your attention to your spine. Sit nice and upright, lots of space between all the vertebrae. So today we're concentrating on opening the heart because it's Valentine's Day. So lots of love everywhere and having a little bit of self-appreciation and all that good stuff. So just noticing as we start to settle and slow everything down here, how you're feeling today, what your inner landscape is like, whether you're feeling calm, whether you're not long out of bed, perhaps you've been dashing around. I know Shona likes a run in the morning. Perhaps you're calming down now. However you've arrived on your mat this morning, let's just sit with how that feels for a few rounds of breath. And let's bring our left hand to our heart center and just connect not only with our breath, but with our heartbeat. And just sit with this awareness of what's happening within. Becoming heavy in the shoulders, letting the jaw relax, letting the brow unfurrow, letting go of any tension wherever you might find it, and just tuning into the beat of your own heart, your own rhythm. Bringing your attention to your belly breath, so letting your belly be soft now, letting go of any tension, any tightness in the abs. Just let your belly be soft. And even with your hand here over your heart, you'll be aware of your body being moved by your breath. And notice everything just starting to slow right down. So while we're sitting here just observing the breath, we're going to move on to some exciting things this morning, but I just thought I'd do a little reading. I don't often do these, but today I felt I wanted to. So while you're tuning in with your breath, remember that you've become what you practice most. Repeated practice is one of the most basic principles of most spiritual and meditative paths. In other words, whatever you practice most is what you will become. If you're in the habit of being uptight whenever life isn't quite right, repeatedly reacting to criticism by defending yourself, insisting on being right, allowing your thinking to snowball in response to adversity, or acting like life is an emergency, then unfortunately your life will be a reflection of this type of practice. You'll be frustrated because in a sense you've practiced being frustrated. Likewise, however, you can choose to bring forth in yourself qualities of compassion, patience, kindness, humility, and peace, again through what you practice. I guess it's safe to say that practice makes perfect. It makes sense then to be careful what you practice. This isn't to suggest that you make your entire life into a great big project where the goal is to be constantly improving yourself. Only that it's immensely helpful to become conscious of your own habits, both internal and external. Where is your attention? How do you spend your time? Are you cultivating habits that are helpful to your stated goals? Is what you say you want your life to be to stand for consistent with what your life really stands for? Simply asking yourself these and other important questions and answering them honestly helps to determine which strategies will be the most useful to you. Have you always said to yourself, I'd like to spend more time by myself? Or I've always wanted to learn to meditate, yet somehow you've never found the time? Sadly, many people spend far more time washing their car or watching reruns of TV shows that they don't even enjoy that they do, making time for aspects of their life that nurture their hearts. If you remember that what you practice you will become, you may begin choosing different types of practice. That came from a book called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and I think it's just an important reminder. So now that you've tuned in with your breath, slowly letting your eyes open and letting your left hand drop now. And I'm going to invite you to form a mudra. A mudra is a seal or a lock which helps bring an intention to your practice. And with your left hand, I want you to just bring your ring finger in towards the palm and hold it down with the thumb. So it looks like so. And then with the other hand, now we place that upright on our left knee. And with the other hand, you'll be familiar with this one. This is what we do for Nadi Shodhana when we do the alternate nostril breathing. It's a little bit like this. The practice we're going to do this morning is called Surya Vedana, or sun-piercing breath. And we're only going to be inhaling through our right nostril. So we place the index finger and middle finger into the palm, or you can have them sticking out. Some people find it quite difficult. And we're going to be blocking the nostrils with the right thumb and the right ring finger. So if you just bring the fingers up towards the nose and block the left nostril with your ring finger and inhale. Block the right nostril and exhale through left. Block the left nostril, inhale right. Block and hold. Exhale left. Block, inhale right. Block, hold. Exhale left. And now over to you to continue this in your own breath. So we're only inhaling through the right, we're holding and then exhaling through left. So the right nostril is doing all the inhaling. So carrying on at your own pace. What we're doing, we're stimulating the internal fire. So the right nostril determines all the things that are to do with morning practices and the sun and all that good stuff. So we're starting to enliven what's going on within. So we're going to take a few more rounds of this. And the next time you exhale left, just let the hand drop away. You can release your mudra on your left hand and just sit nice and tall and just sit with the breath for a moment, letting your gaze drop, just sensing how it feels in the breath now. So it's quite energizing. This is not a practice to do at night time. We do a different one for night time. But it's just starting to wake the body, and as you probably know, at any one time we only have one nostril dominant, and the right nostril is associated with fight and flight and getting stuff done, and the left nostril is all to do with the rest and digest system. So it's morning, we want to get up and going, so that's why we do that one. So just a little bit, something different this morning. So before we get off our seats, just have a fidget if you need to. We're going to do our last practice here. So looking directly ahead, without moving any part of your body whatsoever, I want you to look up. Look up as high as you can using your full range of vision with your eyeballs. So looking all the way up, and then to center, and then look all the way down. So nothing's moving except the eyeballs. and then up to centre, up again. Noticing if your eyebrows are becoming involved in this as well, and then centre and all the way down, back to centre. This time we're going to look to our far right. Again, just the eyeballs moving, and then to centre, and then all the way over to the left and centre. Just taking a moment here, closing the eyes down, noticing if any tension's crept in. Maybe you're gripping your knees or you're trying to concentrate. Trying to just let go of any tension that might have slipped in. Then opening the eyes again, let's go right and centre and left and centre, and close the eyes again. And then open. Sorry, I should have said if anyone's wearing glasses, take them off. Forgot about that. And then the last one we're going to do, opening the eyes, we're going to do circles. So we're going to follow the whole range of movement we've got with our eyeball. So going first, well, it doesn't matter which direction you go, just remember which direction you're going. So we're going all the way around. And when you've been round a couple of times, obviously if this feels uncomfortable, don't do it. And then come to centre, stop and close the eyes. Check in with any tension. And then open the eyes once more and go in the opposite direction. So just the eyeballs moving. It's very good to give the eyeballs some exercise as we get older. Our eyeballs change shape. So this is something you can do to actively resist aging astigmatism. And then back to centre and closing the eyes completely now, giving a bit of a squeeze shut and then relax, but keep the eyes closed. And bring the palms of your hands together at your heart centre, at Anjali Mudra, and then start to rub them really vigorously. Lots of you will be familiar with doing this usually at the end of the practice. So we're creating a bit of heat in the palms and the shoulders here. And then when you feel you've created some heat in your palms here, just cup them over your eyes and sit with the warmth coming from your hands over your eyes here. And then with the hands still cupped in front of your face, softly open your eyes, bring the palms together and bring them down to heart centre. Okay. Right, from here, let's gently make our way to all fours. You will need a strap, but not just yet, so don't worry about it too much. So bringing your hands, as always, underneath your shoulders here, knees are beneath hips. We're in a nice neutral position here, so we're looking down between our thumbs. We're not doing anything too active. And let's just start to drop the belly as we bring our hearts forwards and bring the chin up. So we're exploiting the natural curve in our back here. Put your chin forward, really have a good old stretch. Notice how that feels. And while you're here, just actively push the mat away. Normally we pay more attention to this focus when we're in the cat position, but I want you to feel the engagement in your obliques, down the side of your abs here. So it's a really good thorough stretch of the front body. And very slowly, let's start to take it in the other way. So chin starts to come in towards the chest. We're actively pushing the mat away, creating lots of space between the shoulders. Really push, 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 push. Push away as actively as you can. And get the sensation that you're trying to dial your palms of your hands in towards each other. I don't want you to actually move them, but I want that intention to be there so that you fire the muscles in your arms. So nothing passive about this at all. And then let's drop the belly and come the other way, noticing the transition between using the back muscles or the muscles in the back body and the muscles in the front. So when we get to where we're going in cow position here, hips are high, You can feel the stretch through the front belly. We've got the feeling that we're really opening the chest and the heart space here. Chin comes forward and out, and then let's actively push that mat away again. Get the feeling you're trying to twist those hands. And let's go a couple more times, but in your own time. So just moving between the two places. We're starting to mobilize the spine, but we're not being too gentle about it. We're creating some heat while we're doing it. We want lots of intention. We want the muscles to be fired up. Nothing passive about this. So once more in either direction. And then coming to rest in what you feel is neutral. And then from here, taking your right hand, turn the palm up and take it over to the left corner of your mat. Really feel into that stretch. So make sure you haven't done what I've done and immediately moved backwards. We want to still stay in this kind of neutral position everywhere else. But what we're doing, we're actually creating a bit of torsion in the side body. So you should really feel a good stretch from the lats down the side of your body, from underneath your armpit on the right hand side. So looking behind you towards your left heel as well, really starting to feel how that feels in the neck. And then slowly head and neck come back to center, draw that hand in, and let's just take a couple of cycles of moving forward and back, noticing how that feels. And then coming to neutral, let's go on the other side. So upturning the left palm and sliding it over towards the left corner of the mat. So again, leaving your hips and body exactly where they are, stretching away very actively so that you feel this pull all down here. It should feel quite nice. You know, find your edge and work within it. Nothing should be painful, but, you know, put enough effort in that you're meeting your edge here. Getting that lovely twist. So all the intercostal muscles in the ribs are getting a good old stretch here. Connect with your breath. Make sure you're still breathing. And then back to center, to your neutral place. And this time I want you to dial your hands both outwards so that your fingers are facing in towards your knees. And from there, just walk your knees back slightly. You'll know when you've got as far as you're going. We're just stretching out the medial nerve in the wrist here. So only go as far as you need to feel that stretch. So palms are flat on the mat here. And then bring the body weight back forward again. And this time, bring the fingers so that they're dialed in towards each other. And really push away from the mat here. Imagine you're kind of in this silverback gorilla type stance, trying to press the shoulders away, looking down between the fingers. Move your body weight back just a little bit. You won't need to go far. And then forward a little bit. And then release yourself off your hands completely. And you probably want to give a bit of relief to your wrists here. That's quite a hard one. So bringing the palms together, clasping the fingers, keeping the palms together now. Just start to roll your wrists around. So we're just trying to bring a bit of mobility into the wrists. If you work at a computer all day, this is quite a nice one to do. If you suddenly feel like you're getting a bit of tension in your wrists. And then easing off there. And coming back to kneeling here now. What I want you to do is tuck your toes. And if you can tolerate this, just ease, my two willing helpers are here for the day to show you what should be done. Now obscuring everything. And let me move, because they're not going to. Just bring your bums down onto your heels. Hello, Badger. Whenever I roll my yoga mat out, they have to join in. I hope you can see, and I hope you're not all cheating, but I'm sitting on my heels here, not that you would know. And then from here, just rising up. If you can't tolerate actually sitting on your heels, then this is good enough. And then knees and feet should be about hip width apart. I just want you to take a little turn towards your left. So we're trying to leave the hips facing forward. And take your left hand towards your left heel. It doesn't matter if it doesn't get there, if this is a stretch too far for you, but that's where we're headed. You know, if your fingertips are just near, that's good enough. What we're trying to get is this twist in the thoracic part of the spine, so we want the rib cage to turn. If you can touch your heel, that's perfect. Just take a moment here and start to press your hips forward, so you're becoming a little more active in the pelvis here. Just pushing away. It might involve the glutes being involved too. I just determined to try and steal the show here. And if you're reasonably comfortable there, let's lift the right arm up as well and turn a little bit more. So this feels like a fully engaged twist. We've got lots going on here. We've got the spine in extension and in an axial rotation. So we've got this lovely twist of the spine. Be nice and active with the fingers. Really reach away. We don't want any passive hands here. Try and stretch tall. So we're stretching all the way from the right hip up to the right armpit. And then slowly let's bring that arm down. Turn back to face the front. And just take a moment here. So coming off your feet, which you've probably had enough, and just coming back into, if you've got a dog on your mat, you might have to work around them. So coming into a wide-legged child's pose here might feel nice. Take your version of child's pose just to ease out. We're not staying here for long, so don't get too comfortable. And then slowly coming back up to all fours again. Let's tuck those feet. Walk the hands back up and come back to a high kneeling pose. Percy's going to stay here for this one. Badger's got bored. So this time we're going to take our right hand and we're going to turn our upper body just slightly round towards the right as we take our fingertips towards our heel. Now you might be a bit tighter in this side, you might find it more easy. Just working with what you've got, as long as fingertips are going towards the heel, that's what we want. We've got this rotation going on. So just taking a moment here, and then just ease those hips forward a little bit. So engage in the glutes. And then if you're set up nicely there, you can reach up with the left hand. So maybe you're not touching your heel, it doesn't matter. I'll do the version where we're not touching the heel. So we're still in this twist. And we're really reaching away. So we've got this torsion in the upper rib cage here. And we're looking towards the left heel now. So really open in the chest. Feeling the stretch all the way from hip to armpit. Nice and active in the fingertips. And then slowly head and neck come back to center. Arm comes down. And take child's pose again. So just easing back. Rest your head on your dog in the middle. Take a few breaths. And then coming back up to center. Now extending your tabletop position just a little bit. So either walking your knees back or your hands forward. Of course, I'm going to have to move right off my mat because the dog has monopolised everything. So we're going to push ourselves right back into a version of extended child's pose. So we're pushing away actively with the fingertips, trying to push the top of the mat away. And then slowly we're going to come all the way forward and lower our hips. So maybe your version doesn't look like mine, it doesn't matter. All we're trying to do is move between these two planes of movement where we've got our hips in extension and then in flexion. So if you've got hip issues, just take it nice and slow. Work inside your edge. Hello, Badger. All the way forwards again. So we're going from a version of extended child into hanging cobra here. So we're supporting ourselves quite strongly in the arms, which in cobra we wouldn't normally do. Cobra is a back bend for which the back muscles help us more than anything. Last time coming forwards here, and then slowly we're going to lower down to the belly. Just taking a moment here, perhaps placing your head on top of your hands. Just taking a minute. So feet are about hip width apart here. Then hands come to, thumbs come to armpits. We're looking directly down, elbows wing behind us into the body, and slowly and carefully pressing the tops of the feet, the thighs and the pubic bone into the mat. Engage your glutes, and using your hands as little as possible, raise into a baby cobra here. Just notice how that feels. We're starting to open through the front body. So we're squeezing the shoulder blades together and lower down. Take a breath. And on the next inhale, we're going to rise again, using the inflation of the lungs to help us rise. So squeeze those elbows in, squeeze the shoulder blades together. And let's take the hands away and make sure the back muscles are doing the work here. Remember to push down through the feet, pubic bone, thighs, hands come down, down you go again. Last time, raising up, so thinking about everywhere you need to push down to be able to rise. If this is impinging in your lower back, don't do it, or use your hands to support you. And then very slowly placing the hands on the floor, we're going to gently rise up, keeping the elbows tucked in here to a fuller version of cobra. So elbows are right in towards the rib cage here. We're looking down at the mat, so we've got a nice long spine. Really open in the front body, in the chest. And then from here, slowly, 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 starting to take the hips back towards the heels and take child's pose. So any version you like, arms are outstretched, but they can be passive now. You can rest your forearms on the mat, just let your head come down. Just connecting with your breath, noticing how you feel. And then slowly walking the hands in towards the knees, tucking the toes once more, coming up to rise. This time, remembering how far you got when we were taking the twist in this half camel version, this time taking both hands towards the back. Maybe this is as far as you go. That's absolutely fine. It's not about the hands getting anywhere. It's about getting the hips into extension here. So we're stretching out the hip flexors. So once you've got your hands behind you, just tuck that, really tuck your bum under and send the hips forward so that we are in an extension of the hips here, and we're also in a back bend, so you're in a bit of a loop. If you can reach your heels reasonably easily and without discomfort, really squeeze your shoulder blades together here. In fact, even if you can't reach your heels, squeeze your shoulders back together, really open through the heart space here. And open out and get yourselves into this lovely back bend. If it doesn't feel lovely, come out of it a notch or two. Really connect with the breath and look gently up towards the ceiling. Beautiful. So we're quite tight in the glutes here. Really, hopefully you're feeling this is quite active. And then slowly coming all the way forward again. And untuck the toes, find child's pose for the last time in this section. Take a moment here, just let your shoulders be heavy and round out. In fact, take your hands behind you towards the soles of your feet and let your shoulders just roll outwards here. Let gravity just take them. Notice how your lower mid-back feels. And then slowly and mindfully coming up, Hands come to the mat, toes tuck, and slowly we're going to roll back into our feet. Keeping our knees bent really generously, we're going to tuck our chins in and slowly roll up. Just down the head and neck are the last things to come up. Keep your legs bent. All the way up to the top of the mat and then unroll. Right, so once you've got to where you're getting to, bring your feet to stand at about hip width apart, maybe a little less. Actually, it depends how much you want to challenge yourself. If you've got reasonably good balance, I'm just going to move my camera a little bit, you might want to try this with your feet together. The wider your feet are, the better balance point you've got. If you want to challenge yourselves, zip your feet together and come to Tadasana. So we're slightly, just as we did in camel then, we're tucking the bum under and sending the hips a little bit forward. So hips are over ankles, and then we're going to loop the shoulders round and back so that shoulders are above the hips. Then we're going to look ahead. Arms are externally rotated, so the palms are gently facing forwards here. And then just close your eyes and come into complete stillness, and you'll realise that in stillness you still need to find balance. There's lots going on when we bring ourselves to complete stillness, which is unnatural during the waking day. Very rare that we're in complete stillness. So once again, just tuning into your internal landscape, noticing which bits of you are working hard here, perhaps the little muscles in your feet. Noticing if you're aware of the energy flowing through your body, perhaps you're aware of tingling at fingertips or toes. Just noticing where you're at. Connecting with your breath. And then slowly letting your eyes open. So just looking ahead. So we've just sort of seen how balance is today. Now we're really going to test it. We're going to do a couple of stronger postures here. One of them is the single standing leg balance, where we hold our foot as well. Now, if you've got your strap, we'll start by bringing attention and intention to our right leg. So this is going to be our standing leg. So make sure you don't do that as soon as you take your weight out of your left leg. So very slowly and carefully, we're going to draw the left toes off the mat. And we're going to pop the strap either underneath the arch of the foot or the toes, your choice. And just set yourself up again so you're nice and tall and you're really drawn out of the hips here. Tension is in the standing leg. And slowly, slowly, slowly start to extend that leg away. So maybe you'll find it easier to, well, I want you to take both straps into the left hand and bring your right hand, maybe right hand comes to hip, maybe it comes out to the side. So just seeing where you're at. So we're nice and strong in the standing leg here. Good job. The easiest thing to help you find your balance is to find something in the distance at about your eye height, and then slowly bend into that knee. Take the loop and with grace and elegance, pop that leg down and just walk it out. That didn't look too bad. Let's see how we go on the other leg. Badger's going to come and have a go. Yeah, we're going to do three-legged dogs soon. So popping the strap around the other foot here. So taking the weight, intention and attention into your left leg and really grow tall out of that hip. Make sure you're not cranked over. And when you're ready, start to bring the knee up. Take the strap into both hands and then extend the leg away. And do whatever you need to do with this other hand. So we're using the tension on the strap to create a bit of stability here. We've got some opposing forces going on, so we're really strong in the standing leg. We're stretching the hamstring on the right hand side. Really stand tall, open through the front body here. Let's just take a moment to connect with our heart. So your heart's working quite hard at the moment. Actually, I think my foot is working hard with the standing foot. And then slowly releasing the grip on the strap, bend into the leg and release. Walk it out for a second. Right, you all seem to be doing that reasonably well. So the next challenge is, you can either continue doing what we're doing, we're going to do it once more, or you can try this next version, which is more of a mental challenge than anything else, as long as you've got the flexibility in your hamstrings. If not, you might need to not take the stretch quite as far. So taking the weight into the standing leg on the right again, this time find your drushti point and start to bring the knee up. So this is, try it without the prop. If you get better balance with the prop, then go for the better balance, because that's what we're after. Bring the knee up and take your two peace fingers around your big toe. Bring the other hand to your hip, or take it out, or hang on to something for dear life, and then start to extend away with the left leg. Now what you should feel, I'm not cheating, is this protraction of the shoulder blade here. So we really want to be nice and active. In fact, I'll do it from the side so you can see what it looks like. So as we extend away, we then become, although we're still tall and upright, we're actually opening through. Good job, everybody. And quick while you're ahead, if you're starting to wobble, just bring your leg in and then bring it out to the side. Let's do a little half mountain pose. Lovely job, Linda. Look at you. Good job, everyone. And then release and let go. Excellent. Right, your choice whether you use the strap on this side or not. It's not cheating at all if you do this. It's about getting the best version of this stretch that we can do. It's all about stretch and focus and, you know, just finding your mental resolve to get this done. So taking the focus into the left leg now, slowly drawing the knee up, sliding the right hand down inside to grab the toe with your peace fingers. Then make sure you've drawn yourself out of the left hip and start to extend away with the right leg. Really let that right shoulder protract here. Tune in with your breath. So hopefully the left leg is near straight. Hopefully the right leg is near straight. Connect with your breath. Notice what's happening here. And then slowly bend into that right foot and then bring it out to the side. You should find that you're quite nicely stabilized here. And then you can release the toes and bring the foot down. Good job, everyone. Ooh, it's quite a hard one, that one. I think often the hardest thing is just keeping the concentration going. That's the big thing. So coming towards the, I'm trying to think which way we're going to go. Coming towards the top of your mats here, feet are about hip width apart. Just set yourself up nice and tall, tucking the chin right in towards the chest. Let's start to roll down vertebra by vertebra. Ginny, if your head is not good for doing this, we're heading for downward facing dog, where we're going to take a couple of breaths and we don't need to move so quickly. But if anyone else gets dizzy or has a bad head at any time, you might want to skip this. But we're going to do a slow roll down. Let the arms and shoulders be really passive and heavy here. So chin is tucked right in towards the chest. You'll feel the hamstrings start to lengthen and tighten here. Get to where you're going to with the hamstrings. And then really bend into your knees. So I want you to take the pressure out of the hamstrings here. And I almost want you to set your torsos onto your thighs. And then send your hips high. So we're still really actively stretching our hamstrings, but for those of us with hypermobile joints, we're not overextending through the back of the knees. We're still getting a really effective stretch. And bring your fingertips down towards the ground. Let your head be really heavy, shoulders really heavy. Grab opposite elbows here. And just feel the weight and heaviness of everything. Open up the vertebrae. And let's take a very slight sway here from side to side. Just notice how that's working into the glutes here. And then coming to stillness. And bring both hands to the mat. So you've got your knees bent so generously that your hands can touch the mat. And then just slowly start to straighten the left leg. And then release. And then slowly stretch and straighten the right leg. So it doesn't have to go completely right, it's only as far as your hands will allow. Maybe you're up on your fingertips. And then bend and release. Once more either side. So straightening the left leg. And then bend again. And then straightening the right leg. And bend again. Just taking a moment here. Be quite passive. Bend into those knees. And then looking down at your hands, which are spread like starfish. We're going to step back with the right foot reasonably long. We're going to step back with the left foot reasonably long. Feet are still about hip width apart. And then from here, we're going to push our hips back towards our heels as we slide our chest towards our thighs. Try and imagine that you're trying to get some space between the top of your arm bones, trying to get some distance between them and the shoulder blades. So we're looking directly back towards our heels. We're actively pushing the front of the mat away with our fingertips. Hips are high, belly sucked in, elbows are facing each other. And we're just going to take 5 breaths here. So your heels don't have to be flat. Your knees can be bent, but your hips do need to be high. I'm just going to have a little look. So make a lovely job. Make sure your head and neck, you can nod yes, shake no. And then from here, just take your weight into your left foot and raise the right leg up. It doesn't have to be as high as it will possibly go. Just raise it up. So we're in 3-legged dog here. Make sure you haven't put all your weight into your left hand. So evenly in the hands. Dial your toes so that they are facing directly down. There's a tendency for the hip to want to swing out here, and we want them to be stacked. Have a look. Good job. And then from here, bend the right knee and let that right hip open. So that if you look under your left armpit, you might see the sole of your right foot. So we're just opening the hip here. Beautiful job. Excellent. So take a little look if you need to, and then get yourself back into position. So we're pushing firmly through both hands. We're strengthening the standing leg, and we're really opening the right hip. And then from here, slowly, 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 straighten that leg around. And bring it slowly back down. With control. And place it down. Let's just walk the dog for a moment. So walking through one foot and then the other. Hips are still high. And then coming to stillness, this time setting the right foot down if we can. We're going to raise the left leg. So take a moment just to set yourselves up. We're evenly spread with our weight through both hands. The toes of the left foot are dialing down, almost in towards the right, if you like, to make sure that hip's in the right place. And then bend into the left knee and let that foot drop behind you. So we've got this lovely opening in the left hip. Noticing how this feels on this side. Lots going on in this stretch. So just connect with your breath here. And then slowly straightening the left leg and bringing it slowly and carefully down to join the right. Let's just walk the dog here for a moment. And then looking towards the hands, take a little bend as though you're about to take a crouch. And we're going to bring the right foot up between the hands. Now, if that takes you a few movements, if you need to help it up with your hand, then do that. That's perfectly all right. So we're going to get one leg up to the front of the mat, and then we're going to step up with the other leg. So we're back into forward fold here, just for a moment. Tuck all the way in and roll up. Slowly, 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 slowly. Ooh. Loop the shoulders round and back when you get to the top. Just take a little, we've been holding our weight on our shoulders, so just take a few movements that feel nice. And we're going to do a couple of sun salutations. As it looks as though it might be sunny where you are. I can't really see. Well, it is here anyway, so we're going to do a couple of sun salutations. It's my birthday. We can do what I want, and this is what we're doing. So standing at the top of your mat, nice and tall. On an inhale, let's take the arms all the way up. While we're here, let's join the hands in prayer. And just take those hips forward again. So we're in a slight back bend here. We're sending the heart up and forward, so you should be able to feel it in your pecs here. And then as we bring the arms down to the side, we're going to swan dive all the way over into a forward fold. Remembering to bend your knees, we can still get a really thorough stretch in the hamstrings without straightening them. When we get all the way down on an inhale, we're going to rise to halfway. So hands may be on your shins or your thighs, or maybe your fingertips are on the mat, but we want to kind of be making a number 7 sort of shape. And then exhale to fold. Both hands come down to the mat. And we're going to step back with our right leg really long. And we're going to lower the right leg, keeping the toes tucked, maybe edging the left leg forward so that we're in this low lunge. So taking a moment here to really feel into this low lunge. Nice and tall and upright in the spine. And let's just take a little dip into that front leg so you can see what's happening here. My back, I'm starting to open through the front body. Arms are down by my side, slightly back as we ease forward. And then we're going to bring the hands up here to salute the sun here in our low lunge. So hopefully you can feel quite a lot going on in the right hip flexor. And then slowly, as we bring our hands down in prayer, we're going to loop the right elbow over the left knee. And we're going to bring our hands level with our hearts, elbow wings back, and we're going to look behind. Now, if this is enough of a stretch for you, good enough. If you want a bit more of a stretch into your hams, rise up on the right leg. Really spike that right heel away and look towards your left elbow. So this is quite a challenging one in the hips and the thighs. And then slowly lower, untwist. Hands come down to the mat. Place your right hand next to your left foot. And let's just take a twist up to the sky. So really lengthen out the front body here. We're opening that heart space again, looking up towards the fingertips. So we're actively reaching away, looking up towards the hands, slowly coming all the way down, lifting up on that back foot and hopping forward to join the left foot. And let's forward fold here. So knees are bent. Slowly, let's inhale as we bring our arms up and out and overhead, join in the middle, take our little back bends here and draw the hands down the chest, back to the beginning. That was one. Now we're going to do another one. So big inhale in, arms come all the way up, palms come together, take that little back bend, push the hips forward, and then let's dive all the way down. bending the knees, taking a moment here. On an inhale, let's come to our halfway lift. So hips are out high, we're looking ahead. And then we're going to fold again. This time we're going to step back with our left foot very long, dropping the left knee, but keeping the toes tucked, and slowly raise yourself back. So noticing how it feels on this side, you might feel different on one side than you did to the other. If this is too much of a stretch for you in your hip, close the distance between your legs, untuck your toes. Make it easy on yourself. It's just, all of you are quite capable, I think, although I know, Steph, you've got a problem with your hip, haven't you? So be really careful with it. So noticing how it feels on this side here. Nice and tall. Let's start to take the arms behind us a little bit. So we're squeezing the shoulders together. We're getting that opening in the front body. So your pecs should be hard at work here at the moment. And then let's reach up and take it back just a little bit. So palms come together, looking up at the thumbs, thinking about what's going on here, squeezing into the glutes. And then as we bring the hands down, we're going to take the left elbow over the other side of the right knee. Fingertips face forwards, elbow wings back. And if you want to, you can straighten the left leg and kind of push back into it. Really spike back into the left heel. So you're driving away with the left heel. This is quite a balance. Connect with your breath, make sure you're still breathing. And then slowly lowering that left leg. Hands come back to the mat. And this time let's send the right foot back to join the left. And we're just going to take a moment here in plank. So pushing away into both heels. Just noticing how this feels. Make sure you've got lots of space between your shoulders. Now from here you can either drop to your knees and lower yourself down, or you can take the full chaturanga where bottoms are low here, and slowly we bring the body weight forward as we bend our elbows and come down to the mat. Untuck the toes, hands come in front, rest your head and just take a moment here. Ooh-wee. And then slowly hands come to armpits as we raise ourselves up through cobra, pushing ourselves back towards child's pose, tucking our toes up to downward facing dog. This time we're going to angle our left foot in. We're going to look towards our hands and step the right foot forward so that we are in warrior one. So left foot isn't completely at a right angle here. It's in at about 45 degrees. Hips are facing front. You might need to take your right foot wide along the mat to make your hips face front. We're all assembled slightly differently, so it depends how your hips are. Mine are quite wide, so I need a wide stance here. And then bring your weight into the front leg while still sending energy through the back. So the back foot is firmly planted. We've got the entire sole on the mat. We're pushing into the outer edge of the back foot. We're also pushing forward in the front foot. So we've got these opposing bits of energy going on here. On an inhale, let's take the arms up. So again, we're in this upward warrior. And then from here, let's bring the left hand down behind our back and take the other hand behind. So we're in a version of humble warrior here. Just connecting with your breath. And then slowly, let's straighten that front leg as we bring the arm down. Taking both hands behind you, and let's just come to a flat back position here. So we're quite wide here. I just want you to get a nice stretch. Looking down at the right toes. And then slowly coming up to center. Turning the right toes in. And let's heel toe into the center. So we're going to do that on the other side now. Which leg we just had. So we had our left leg back, didn't we? So this time we're going to step back with our right foot. So right foot is angled at about 45 degrees. Make it quite a nice, long, comfortable stance for you so that you can really dip into this front leg. Remember that warrior one is not a lunge, so we're not coming forward with the knee. Our body weight, set yourselves up, just bend the knee, leave your bodies where they are. So we're almost leaning back. So our body weight is going straight down. So we've got this opposing force between the 2 feet here, getting the hips nice and square, really come up tall. And let's bring the arms up, sink into the front knee a little bit more, looking up towards the thumbs, connecting with the breath. This time taking the right hand behind you and coming back with the left hand. So we're really opening through that heart space. Lots of space in the chest, lovely back bend here. And then as we bring that arm down, bring it behind to meet the other one, let's take our, straighten the other leg and come into our humble warrior here. And slowly back up to center, turning the feet and heel toeing them back in. Oh, that's quite a lot of work on the inner thighs. So last one in this position. So we're going to take our right foot facing towards the top of the mat. Left foot is facing the long edge of the mat. So we're setting ourselves up for warrior two here. So again, don't take your feet too far apart, but make sure that when you bend into your right knee, the right knee is tracking towards the right edge of your mat, and you've got as much energy going into the outer edge of your left foot as you have the right. And from here, as we bend into that knee, maybe you need to adjust so you're not taking your body weight forward. Arms come up to about shoulder height, and then we look down the middle finger of the right hand here. Nice strong warrior. So really have a good old squeeze of the glutes here. Imagine that you're trying to draw your thighs together here. Lots of activity, active in the fingers. And then from here, just upturning the palm and coming to rest on your right thigh. So lots of space between the shoulder and the thigh. You don't want to be collapsed down, so we're nice and tall here. Imagine you've got a tray of drinks. And then with the left hand, we're going to come up and over. Now just imagine here that you're going to look up at the ceiling. So what we're doing, we're getting this twist in the upper part of the ribs here. You'll feel lots of space between your left hip and your armpit. Really press away into that left foot there. And then slowly let's bring the arm round and raise yourself up. Bring the right foot in, turn the left foot out, and we're ready to go immediately on the other side. So take it, leaving the body weight where it is. Make sure the left knee is tracking towards the left corner of the mat. Floating both arms up to shoulder height, really sending energy away into the back edge of the right foot here, looking over to the middle finger of your left hand. So get that feeling that you're trying to hug the thighs together here, squeeze into the glutes, nice and active, and then upturn the palm, lots of space between shoulder and thigh, and let's bring the other arm up and overhead. When we're there, really reaching away strongly with those fingertips. Let's turn, let's get that rotation, look up at the ceiling, and take a few breaths here, noticing what's happening in the outer edge of the back foot. Breathe, and then slowly open up to standing, feet into the middle, and heel toe in. Super job. Right, from here, mindfully and carefully, however you want to, bringing yourselves down to the mat. And we're going to take a couple of rounds. Just ease yourself down onto your elbows. In fact, I need to adjust my camera back again. No doubt the dogs will suddenly reappear when they realise I'm laying down once more. So we're going to do a few rounds of bridge pose, but before you get all giddy with excitement about thinking, oh yeah, I know what we're doing here, I don't want your pelvis to lift off the mat yet. So feet are about hip width apart, palms are facing down this time, and just bringing an awareness to your spine. And I just want you to spend a few rounds of movement flattening your spine into the mat by curling your pelvis in towards you, and then rolling the pelvis away to create that little hollow in your back. So we're just moving between spine flattened, spine arched a little. So just gentle movements here. We've been doing some quite strong back bends today, so we're just easing through these movements, curling forward and back. And then the next time, let's start to introduce a lift. So squeezing into the glutes, sending the knees forward. So raising yourself up high here, we're in quite a strong pose. And let's walk one shoulder blade under us, then the other. And if you're able, clasp your hands underneath your bums. Knees are parallel, so they're not splaying out. Chin is tucked, so we've got nice long cervical spine. So we're doing our last little back bend here, just easing out. I'm going to stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Unclasp the hands, and one vertebrae at a time, just lower the spine back down onto the mat. Lovely. Bring one knee in towards the chest and then the other, maybe holding around the shins. Just take a little roll from side to side. Noticing how you feel. And then taking one leg away long, your left, well, whichever leg you've taken away long, leave the other one bent. Opposite hand comes to knee. And we're just going to roll over onto the hip of the straightened leg. So you don't have to keep your shoulders down for this one. You can bring your whole body with it. We're going to try and get the knee onto the floor. So however you do that, just getting a nice twist into the spine. Let the shoulder that's perhaps lifted off the mat, just let it be heavy. Upturn the palm. Just take a moment here. And then slowly, let's roll back into the center. Stretch that leg away long. Bring the other knee in towards the chest. And let's roll over to the other side. All the way over. Let the opposite shoulder be heavy. Let it be open. Think about the heart space opening here. Lots and lots of space in the front body. And then slowly back to center again. Last pose before Shavasana. If you've got a yoga block, grab it. If you haven't, you can do this without. In fact, I'll show you it without. If you've got a block, have it book-shaped between your shoulder blades. If you haven't, I just want you to lower onto your elbows like so. Keep your knees bent, whether you're using a block or not. And then we're just going to take our heads back onto the mat. So we're supporting our weight with our elbows here. This is the ultimate front body opening pose. This is fish pose. If you are able, slide both legs away, but keep your toes pointed. So we're on the tops of our heads. We're getting a lovely stretch through the throat. Let me have a look. I'm going to try it with the block as well. So if you're on your block, your head wants to be off it. Shoulders are externally rotated. Just taking a few breaths here. And then slowly, carefully and mindfully easing yourself back down onto the mat so that you are completely flat. The ankles roll out to the sides. palms are upturned in a gesture of acceptance. If you need to cover yourself up or put socks on or get warm, do whatever you can to be comfortable for the last part of the practice. I'm going to do you another little yoga nidra, which is quite a nice thing to do just to help you relax. We've had quite a busy practice this morning. So making sure you're nice and warm and snuggly and comfortable, maybe with a pillow under your head, maybe not. Just bringing your attention inwards again, considering how your breath feels, how your back feels. We've done lots of back bends today, lots of front body opening. We've created lots of space between hips and ribs, lots of space between our shoulder blades, and hopefully lots of space between our ears as well. Read something really nice this week. It said yoga is not about self-improvement, it's about self-acceptance. And I quite like that. I think often we're striving to get a bit further than we did before or to achieve something, but remembering we're meeting ourselves where we are today. So now that you've got yourself settled and you're nice and calm and warm and hopefully starting to relax, bring your attention back to your breathing and your breath and what's going on in the internal landscape for you. Noticing perhaps if everything has slowed right down. Right. So let's make sure you're as relaxed as you possibly can be. Your feet, your hips, your back, arms, shoulders, jaw and forehead. Check in and make any adjustments that you need to make yourselves as comfortable as you possibly can. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, let go of any tension or fatigue that might have cropped up during the practice. Let go of any thoughts or any need to be doing. This is just about being now. This is your time for yourself. As we did in Tadasana, start to experience the body in stillness. Know that you can move if you need to, but it feels good just to enjoy the stillness. Take the chance to do absolutely nothing. Allow my words to be received energetically rather than mentally. Even the mind can have a rest now. All you need now is effortless awareness. The practice of Yoga Nidra has begun. A series of energetic points will be named. Allow your awareness to flow freely from point to point, like connecting points of light or energy currents. Let's start with your awareness at the point between the eyebrows, the hollow of the throat, the right shoulder joint, the right elbow joint, wrist joint, right thumb, tip of the index finger, tip of the middle finger, tip of the ring finger, tip of the little finger. Experiencing energetically the right wrist joint, elbow joint, shoulder joint, hollow of the throat. Shift your awareness now to your left shoulder joint, elbow joint, wrist joint, left thumb, tip of the index finger, tip of the middle finger, tip of the ring finger, and tip of the little finger. Back up to the left wrist joint, elbow joint, shoulder joint, hollow of the throat, the heart center, the right side of the chest, the heart center, the left side of the chest, the heart center, the navel center, the tip of the tailbone, the right hip joint, the right knee joint, ankle joint, the right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, little toe, back to the right ankle joint, knee, hip, tip of the tailbone, sweeping your awareness now to the left hip joint, left knee, ankle, big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, little toe, back to the left ankle joint, knee, hip, tip of the tailbone, the navel center, the heart center, hollow of the throat, the center of the eyebrows. Now becoming aware of the breath. No need to change the breath in any way, simply bring your awareness to your breath. As you exhale, feel that you let go. Fatigue, stress, and tension. As you inhale, feel that you're pulling in boundless energy. Exhale, fatigue, stress, tension. Inhale, boundless energy. Exhale from the crown of the head all the way down to the toes. Inhale from the toes all the way up to the crown of the head. Exhale from crown to the ankles. Inhale from ankles to the crown. Exhale from the crown to the knees. Inhale from the knees to the crown. Exhale from the crown down the spine to the tailbone. Inhale from the tailbone up the spine to the crown. Exhale from the crown down the spine to the navel. Inhale from the navel up the spine to the crown. Exhale from the crown down the spine to the heart center. Inhale from the heart center up to the spine, to the crown. Exhale from the crown to the throat center. And inhale from the throat center up the spine to the crown. Exhale from the crown down to the bridge between the nostrils. And inhale from the bridge between the nostrils up to the crown. Exhale from the third eye down to the bridge between the nostrils. Inhale from between the nostrils up to the third eye. From the crown, exhale to the bridge between the nostrils. And inhale from between the nostrils up to the crown. Exhale from the crown down the spine to the navel. And inhale from the navel up to the spine of the crown. Continue to breathe this way for a few breaths. Feel that the whole body is being breathed in and breathed out. Now bringing your awareness back to your heart center. Notice the heart center rising on inhalation and falling on exhalation. And bringing your awareness back to your body. Feel your body peacefully resting beneath you. Feel the support of the surface beneath you. Noticing the temperature around you. And noticing any sounds around you. Start to introduce a couple of deep breaths and any movement that might want to accompany those breaths. Maybe wiggling into the fingers and the toes. Maybe taking a full overhead stretch. And just starting to take any movement that feels nice. practice of Yoga Nidra is now complete. So gently bringing one knee in towards the body and then the other, hugging around the shins and rolling in small movements from side to side. And then rolling out onto your right hand side and just spending a couple of breaths on your right before gently, carefully and easily bringing yourself up to a seated position. And keeping the eyes closed here, just slowly bringing your palms together at your heart center, at Anjuli Mudra. Let's just take a moment here to bow our heads. An acknowledgement for the time we've set aside for a little bit of self-love and care today, and to appreciate how truly amazing your bodies are. And for me to be able to say thank you so much for joining me today on my birthday. It really means a lot. It's lovely teaching you all and sharing what little I know. Namaste. Are you all right? Sorry, we overran by a few minutes there. I hope that wasn't
that was lovely, Gabby. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for joining in. Lovely. You're welcome. I'll see you all in the week or next weekend or whenever. But there's no practice on Wednesday. No
okay, good.
It'll be at the weekend, but I'll let you know. Anyway, take a lovely weekend.